Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Drew, and I want to welcome you back to Learn How to See Better. It's the only podcast out there that'll improve your vision the longer you listen. And today I want to talk about something that's right at the core of what the podcast is about, learning how to see better. In today's episode, I'm calling Recalibrated Perspectives. And why is that, you say? Because even as we go on our journey, as we're learning how to see better, there are times where you're still kind of getting dialed in, trying to recalibrate that focus to make sure you're really seeing things through the right lenses, physically and metaphorically speaking. And the way I want to talk about that today is in the perspective of how we actually look at, you think of how a torpedo works, or you think about the idea, they say that, really you kind of zigzag your way to success a lot like a torpedo does, because, you kind of, it's a lot of error correcting involved in the process of making your way towards its target. And if you have a target, if you have a goal, if you have a direction you're going, there's times when you need to recalibrate things, because everyone's heard the example. You could look at LA and New York, and if you're just off a few degrees, you're ending up in Chicago. And so along the way, you want to have those opportunities where you can kind of step back and get out of your element to say, what are some things that I could look at? It's kind of the idea of working on and working in. Working on your business or working in your business is one example. Working on your life and working in your life. There's the times you really step back and look at and say, what's going on that you're experiencing on more of a wide scale basis. And then saying, as I make adjustments, as I really start leaning into becoming my best self, I'm in the trenches doing more of the roll your sleeves up work. And it was essentially good to be able to have an opportunity to step back for a moment and have this exercise recently to reflect on some things, but more so in the projection phase and looking ahead into the new year and really getting calibrated to make sure that as the years change and as your experiences change, think about it. If you're on a growth path, you've developed some skills in the last 12 months. You may not be an expert yet, but you've had progress, you've had development, you've had something that makes you a little bit better than you were before or not that long ago. So how do you make the most of that? How do you take all of last year and pour that into this year? And even though you might have just said thank you to 2024, as you look into 2025, how do you take the good, the bad, and the ugly, all of it in its totality with gratitude and create those enhancements? Create that dream day, week, month, quarter, year. And a year can feel like a long time, but go by real fast at the same time. And so from that standpoint, I actually had the opportunity recently to, like I said, take that time out for the first time in maybe a good quarter to recalibrate, surround myself with like-minded individuals, and be able to immerse in an environment of growth. And I can tell you firsthand, it can be a very energetic experience. And it's not so much about the details of any particular, event or situation, but the idea that when you have a network or a mastermind or a tribe that you're a part of, a community that you can be plugged into, that is there in a way that can almost serve as an asset, on your balance sheet, so to speak. The idea that, there's folks in your corner, they're looking to see you win and looking to be right there and celebrate alongside you when it's time to win, when you get those wins. And I've always thought that was pretty cool, but there are times when you realize it's even more valuable, and to get those adjustments and enhancements to your own perspective when you get things that don't always line up. You might think one way and expect a certain outcome or result from something in life, and you might get a different experience. Someone could go try a new sport and break their leg in a couple of weeks. It's a little bit dramatic sounding, but the idea being that there are times when we look at what something could be and what something should be and what something is or turns out to be, it might turn out different in a way that you might evaluate those results of trying a new sport as having a bad plan, a bad strategy, when in our reality, the strategy may not have been flawed. Maybe it was just some of the execution of the tactical approach to make the strategy come to life. Stated in plain English, maybe there was a couple steps missing on that pre-flight checklist when the strategy was to go this new direction. All right, we're taking off, we're going to the moon. There's a few things missing on the flight checklist, and we didn't make it to the moon. Looking to start the new sport, you have your checklist. It missed the fact that maybe you needed to, lace your shoes up before you went out there and before the broken leg, as an example. But again, the idea being, what are the opportunities that we can take and embrace, especially when you look at your, the things that you have, the resources that you have in your life. Your resources are they're like assets. What does your pool of assets look like? And your assets can be your people, your relationships, your tribe, your coaches, your mentors, your the groups that you plug into, your networks. How can you lean into those so that they can lift you and help you see better? That's part of your arsenal. And so, me coming just out of the opportunity to get that fresh perspective recalibration exercise, by being able to kind of put it all out there and revisit what experience has been like and how that aligns with what the intents are. And is everything harmonious, or is there turbulence? And what might another experienced individual have to say about what you share that can give you insight? These are questions to ask, something to think about as you evaluate on your journey ways that you kind of, as Dr. Stephen Covey would say it in his book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, how would you sharpen the saw? Because otherwise, putting a whole lot of effort in, not much return, trying to cut down a tree with a dull saw. So this is that friendly reminder. It's the end of January. We've passed whatever that new holiday people are talking about with the New Year's resolutions going out the window. Ditch your resolutions day, is that it, I think, if I'm not mistaken? We're past that. We're moving into February, 1/12 of the way through the year. Great checkpoint. Could be time to recalibrate the perspective as we take all that we knew from last year, poured into this year. Is everything still calibrated? Is everything still in focus? Is it dialed into the way it needs to be? Sometimes it's just wash, rinse, repeat. Sometimes you got to make a little bit of adjustments, So I wanted to give you all perspective and something to think about and consider, because this could be the way that you make a couple of fine tunings in your own world to get you onto the fast track to reaching your goals. So that's what I've got for you on this episode to learn how to see better. It's your host, Drew Davis. If this struck a chord with you, let me know in what ways. Or be sure to share this with a friend. Give me that feedback. Until next time, I'll be sure to catch you on the next one. Appreciate you joining.